to Chapel Station and episode 14. I was building my first model railway. You'll see from the thumbnail in this week's video that it's all going to be about building the retaining walls, which I'm not going to lie, was a bit of a challenge for me, but you'll see that in the video, so I won't say any more. Just like to say another big thank you to everyone who's watching my videos and who's subscribing. Hope they are used, hope they're enjoyable. Please give me comments, feedback on either my layout and any of the bits I'm doing on that, or even on the video and how I can improve that. It's as I've said before, I'm new to model railways and I'm new to YouTube, so anything I can do to improve, greatly appreciated. You might have noticed that I've learned how to do thumbnails now properly on using an app called Canva. So again, just to make them a bit more eye-catching. So yeah, and also learn how to put a subscribe and like button into my video as well, which hopefully it will just be right now as a little reminder to like, subscribe and hit the bell button so that you get notified. So yeah, I'm trying to learn new things on the videoing as well as on the railway as I go, so any feedback is greatly welcome, but thanks very much for everyone who is taking the time to watch. So I'll stop waffling on now and I'll hand back to myself a few weeks ago when I started to build the walls. I hope you enjoy the video. So in the last episode, if you watched it, it was about building this board in front of you, which is going to be my new industrial area. And I had the dilemma as, do I now continue with that area or do I actually finish the joining area between the station, which is the next actual bit that should be scenic, as you can see. So I've decided, because I'm really enthusiastic to do this and looking forward to doing this area, better to go with what you want to do than force yourself to do something else on the railway that then I might rush or not do as to the best of my ability. So yeah, I'm going to continue with this area and try and hopefully get all this done, and then I can then just do this area, and then the half of the room is then actually completed. Sounds very easy, doesn't it? So yeah, so I think I've learned from the previous one, from doing the station, that best to start from the back and work forwards. So although I really want to get on with the area in front and actually do the gasworks itself, much better to do the lines at the back first so I'm not reaching over it. So that means I need to do my retaining wall on the incline all the way along. Probably do something at the back there so it blends into the background, and ballast the tracks there as well. And that will then leave me free to do the actual gasworks itself. So that's the plan. I'll try and video bits as I go along, and fingers crossed it's all going to work out. So for my retaining wall, I've decided to try out the scale scenes kits that you just download as a PDF, purchase online, download as a PDF. I chose this wall once on my iPad here because it's quite a nice long graduating wall, looks aged, as you can see there, and yeah, and there's a good length for the actual, and they can do it in left or right hand. You can see it's the right-handed one. But the issue is as it shows on here, this is a 9% incline, which I think is sort of more designed to be a retaining wall for a road, whereas because mine's on a retaining wall for the 2 double rail line, and they're only sort of 3.5% incline. So when I printed it off, whereas the standard print off sheet has just got that as your initial incline, and then going into the slightly wider one, which I think cut a lot of them off here now, but basically I've had to extend it, so you can see there, and keep extending it, cutting off sheets to make, and that's just the first bit of brick incline before you get to the arches, and that's already probably close to 1 metre long. I mean, I suppose the advantage is with these downloadable sheets is you can just print off as many as you like and adapt them. So they're the actual brick sheets. So I'm going to glue those to the cardboard and then obviously do the brick sheets to them. So I suppose the advantage of this system is that you can do that, and I can make it fit the whole length of my incline. But there's a lot of instructions. I think the actual pack itself is 19 pages. You've got to do a lot of cutting out, a lot of sticking to cardboard. So there's quite a lot of work in these, even though they're quite cheap and, like I say, very adaptable. But the flip side is I think it's going to take me a long time to build this wall. So I thought I'd show you the start, and then I'll just do a few video bits as I go along, and it'll look like I've done it in minutes, and it'll probably take me days or weeks. So I'll speak to you soon. Well, I've finally finished the first incline bit, which you can see here. It's taken me the whole week and probably 2 to 3 hours every evening to just do this piece. So it was tough work, tough going, to be honest. Hard to motivate myself to keep going, but I just needed to get it done. And of course I haven't even started the arch section, which will continue up there. But I'll just show you a bit of a close-up of what I've done. Excuse the shadow. I've used, you had a choice of normal brick, and you had a choice of doing a graffiti bit on it as well, which I've just used because it's going to be more industrial, this part. Then I had to obviously make the retaining wall at the top. Each section I cut out and wrapped, including these posts, going all the way along. So as the incline gets bigger, as I say, at about 4%. One thing you might just be able to see the colour difference. My printer ran out of ink. I suppose that's the other negative of using these systems. You get through a lot of ink. So I printed it on my study printer, and it came out slightly different, sort of more ready. I could probably weather that down when I actually put it on, and I suppose it doesn't matter anyway. And you can see there, as it was running out of ink, it actually started going to a lighter red as opposed to the dark brown bricks that it's supposed to be. So yeah, a lot of cutting out. I used mainly either thick card like this that I had, or some mount board. I use these mount board pieces for all these uprights. And I did it slightly differently. I think in the actual pack, you're supposed to do it more three-dimensional and then create a pathway this side, and then you put your retaining wall on top. Because this is going straight against the incline for my railway, I didn't have room to do that, so I literally had to cut out a really thin piece here. Again, that was supposed to look like a paving edge, the same as this edge at the top here, there. But I actually tried it and didn't like it. It sort of stood out too much, so I've actually decided to just do it in the brick paper as well. So yeah, I mean, it looks okay. It's hard to get everything completely level and straight, you know, when you're cutting card and cutting mount board, and then trying to wrap these paper sheets. These paper sheets, trying to bend them and wrap them around. It is really hard to get it completely straight, as you can see even here. Well, so I suppose it's slightly unrealistic. In the real world, it would probably be pretty geometrical, I suppose. I did the other side. I just did the wrap the other side. That's the join there to strengthen it. But I did that because obviously the railway's going to be up to there. But if I do any filming from that side, although you won't see it, just thought it'd be useful just to have that on there. So yeah, it's almost a week's worth of work there, just to get that. It's quite a long section, over 1 metre long. And then I've now got to start building the arches, which are even more involved. So it's probably going to take me another week. So I'll probably finish this episode here. Probably just go and put it on the layout and just show you what it looks like actually on the layout, and then maybe doing some train running, which I haven't done for a week. So I've just been busy gluing cardboard and paper together. So I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. So that's my retaining wall in place on the layout. It fits pretty well. It curves up a little bit there, but I can, once I ballast and that, you won't notice that. And then yeah, and then follows the gradient quite nicely. I did mark that with a pencil before I obviously started actually gluing the card onto it. So now I've got this big section here, which is supposed to be arches on the actual scale scenes layout. I'll show you that. So these are the arches, but obviously they're still at 9% as well. Not be all over now, but yeah, so it's supposed to now continue on with these arches and a retaining wall above the arches on top there. But as you can see there, it then goes up to a flat level like that, with a retaining wall on top as well, parapet wall shall say. But also my whole layout doesn't go at that angle, goes at 4 degrees or 3.5 degrees I think it is. And the problem is, whereas I could just cut these down and it worked out fine, obviously if I cut them shorter, then the angle's going to be wrong at the top, and if I cut the angle at a sort of 3% angle, I'm going to end up with the arches getting closer and closer to the top. So I'm not quite sure at this moment what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give it some thought and fiddle around a bit and see if I can just sort of squeeze them in. I think I might even extend this normal wall and then just have arch on the last piece, maybe there, where it isn't as obvious. So yeah, I'll give you this update, and I'll let you know what I decide in the next bit of the video. So this is what I've managed to do to fit in the arch section with my sort of 3 degrees angle as opposed to the 9 degrees on the actual Scale Scenes model or Scale Scenes PDF. So I don't know if you can see, but it's basically I just cut one piece of card and made it fit the right height of the retaining wall from that end all the way up to where it's going to finish here. And then I literally sort of used the PDF printouts almost like a jigsaw puzzle, so I could get the retaining wall along the top, and then just fit in all these. And I don't know how well, there's going to be columns obviously here, but you can just see there that I've actually then jointed bits of paper together to make them all fit, so I could get the angle, which obviously means that it's a lot larger above the arches this end than this end, but at least all the bricks are actually horizontal and it doesn't look too weird. So hopefully once that's actually in and the arches are built and a bit of weathering on it, and all the columns, you shouldn't notice it too much once parapet topping and edging's on as well. So I think it's about the best I could do. It's not perfect, but hopefully once everything else is in, you're not really going to see the little bodge that I've done. That's about the only way I could think to actually get it all to fit on the right angle and then going down there. So yeah, so it's taken quite a bit of work. It's taken me all morning just to cut that and glue those on. And now I've got to build all the archways in there as well. Then what I've got to do now is put these formers, go behind the arch to create the sort of the depth, and then you cut out these that wrap around the front and along the back to actually create the full arch. So, and because I've had to obviously change it so they're not all standard lengths, I've individually cut them out, measured them, and then now glued them onto this foam board, which I'll cut out to give them a bit of strength, and then glue them onto the back of these, and then I can then glue the paper on, and I'll do the same for the arch roof, but I'll probably just do that on a bit of card so it's flexible. A few tips actually if you are going to do these is definitely get yourself one of these little guillotines, because to be able to cut all these papers by hand is and accurately is really difficult, even with a good pair of scissors, which I've got there. So definitely recommend you get a guillotine if you can do a lot of these scale scenes. And the Yoo-hoo glue, I think I mentioned before, which is really great for just sticking them straight onto cardboard and even gluing the brick paper on as well. So yeah, steady progress, and it's just fiddly and I'm not really enjoying it, but it's a means to an end and hopefully it'll be worth it when it's finished. So I'll carry on, and so I'm making slow progress on this. Been at it all day today. Luckily it's a Sunday, and it's a bit rainy and wet out there, so not much else to do. So as you can see now, let me just turn it around. So I've glued all those cutouts onto the back, and I've just put a bit messy on the back. I've done some cross beams and that just to support it a bit. And then on the front, I've wrapped the brick paper, cut out each section and wrapped that round. Also done the support columns as well, if you can see that. So when it stands up, you're going to get a bit of a 3D effect. And I've still got to do a parapet along the top, or like the supporting wall, like I do on the other one. So next stage is to cut out. I've already glued these onto card and curved the card. So next stage is to cut them out to go in the top. and then these sheets that I've cut out need to go onto card as well, and they're the backing sheet that will actually go on the back like so, and they need to be curved as well slightly, and that in there, I don't know if you can see that. And I'm following the instructions on my laptop over there. It makes it look so easy and so quick, should I say. But we're getting there slowly, so hopefully by the end of today, it's a full day's work, but hopefully it'll all be done. I'll have to show you the finished article. So hooray, I've finally finished putting this piece together. It's taken me probably about a day and a half in total to do. And it was a lot of work, a lot of cutting, a lot of gluing, a lot of working out, because it's not standard either, because I've obviously had to amend it for my incline. Yeah, it's taken a lot of measuring and sort of cutting out, but I think the finished bit, once I've done a bit of weathering powder to get rid of some of the white paper edges and that, and it's bedded in, I think it'll look all right in the end. You can see from the back it's all pretty hodgepodge, as I've glued in the paper and the support. Put a couple of graffiti ones in this end, because I think actually the ones in London, which I'll show you some video of, but the ones in London are pretty graffitied and dirty, so still needs a bit of weathering. So yeah, all in all, a lot of work, but hopefully it'll look good on the layout. So I'll need to go down to the railway room now and put it on layout and see how it looks. So that's the arches now fixed in place. Continuing on from the walling I put in earlier. Didn't quite go as planned, because when I measured it, I hadn't allowed for the thickness of the board there, so the arches actually were too high. And I'll show you if I pan over the top there, you'll see what I mean. I couldn't quite face cutting all the arches down again, so I just got my saw out and cut the wood back. So you can see there that I had to cut the wood back about 0.5 centimetre so that the wall would fit in. My problem now is I'm a bit worried that when I ballast, that if water and that gets down, it could wreck it. So I'm going to have to probably put some card in there and then try and seal it all before I actually ballast and wet the ballast. Otherwise I think the arches could get damaged by the water from the ballast. But other than that, I think actually it all looks pretty good. You can see at the back there as well, I've actually put in place a small wall as well along the back, which blends in quite well with the back seam. I've left a tiny gap. I'll just go over the top there. I've left a tiny gap there, so that I think it just gives a better illusion when there's a small gap and it's not right against the wall. So if I just pan along, you can see the arches there, then the walling, and it goes all the way down to the start. So that's it done. Quite a slog, I think you'd have gathered that from my previous bits of this video. I did struggle to do it. It was quite a big bit of work, and I think for a novice, someone who hasn't used the scale scenes design where you print it off and have to cut all the card and different thicknesses of card and that, and then to actually have to also kit bash it so it fitted the angle of my incline, was quite a challenge for my limited skills. So I mean, the scale scenes, I think they're pretty good. They're probably not as good a value as you think, because once you buy all the card, you have to do all the cutting yourself. Obviously it takes a lot more time. You have to print it all off, as I said earlier, and obviously that ink isn't cheap for printers as well, and the paper as well. So, but I think when you want to do something a bit like this that's a bit out the usual, then it does give you that option. So yeah, so I'm pretty glad that's all finished now, and now I can ballast it and then be able to get on with this bit in front and the actual industrial area, the fun bit. And then up this end I'm going to put an iron bridge girder over the top of the road, and then some more, dare I say it, scale scene arches going to go along here. I've already downloaded those, but they look a lot simpler, so hopefully that'll be easier. So you'll be able to see that in future episodes. So thanks very much for watching. If you made it to the end, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button and the bell button if you want notified when I upload my videos. So So thanks very much, and happy modelling, and I'll speak to you all soon.